It's late at night. You're walking home alone, enjoying the quiet peace of the empty streets. There's just one problem. You're being followed by a man whose smile is a little too wide. This chilling tale comes from a Reddit user who found themselves in an uncomfortable situation. It wasn't the middle of the night, but it was late enough that most people would be asleep or tucked away in their homes. That's what made the scene even more unnerving for me. For some reason, my brain had decided that this would be a great time to go for a walk. And so there I was, trudging along a deserted street with not another soul in sight. It was one of those old neighborhoods where the street lamps were the only source of light, and their glow did little to pierce through the fog that had rolled in. Every now and again, I'd hear my own footsteps echo in the eerie silence. But after a while, I got used to the rhythm and it faded into the background noise. Or so I thought, until I heard something else. Footsteps. I stopped dead in my tracks and strained to listen. They were soft, almost a whisper, but they were definitely there, coming from behind me. The rational part of my brain told me that there was probably some logical explanation. Maybe it was just a branch or some leaves rustling in the wind. But my gut was screaming at me to run. I know it sounds silly. I know it looks silly. But I couldn't help myself. I started running. I didn't dare look back though. I kept my eyes fixed on the pavement in front of me, willing my legs to move faster, to outrun whatever was behind me. The sound of my own breathing grew louder in my ears, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. Then I heard it again, right behind me, but closer now. The sound of those soft footsteps getting faster, matching the quickening beat of my own feet on the pavement. Suddenly, the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. Something cold and clammy seemed to wrap around my shoulders, and I could feel a pair of eyes boring into my back. It was like an invisible presence was there, watching me, matching my pace, step for step. I didn't dare look back, but I could feel its gaze burning into me, relentless and unwavering. I wanted to scream, to make some kind of noise, but my throat was hoarse, and all that came out was a strangled cry. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. I slowed to a halt, my breathing gradually returning to normal. My legs trembled with exhaustion and fear, and I could still feel that clammy sensation on my shoulders. But I dared not turn around to see what was there. After what felt like an eternity, I finally turned to face the source of my terror. What I saw sent shivers down my spine. Standing before me was a man with an unnatural grin plastered on his face. His eyes were wide and blank, staring directly at me with an unnerving intensity. The sight of his contorted features and vacant stare was like a punch to the gut, stealing the breath from my lungs and freezing the blood in my veins. But it was his smile that truly sent chills down my spine. It was stretched way too wide, revealing teeth that were far too sharp and white to belong to any human being. As I stared at him in disbelief, he took a step closer, and I could see that his lips were moving, though I couldn't hear a sound. His jaw was working, but no words were coming out. I wanted to scream, to run, but my body wouldn't obey. I was paralyzed with fear, unable to break free from the grip of his haunting grin. He continued to advance, his smile never faltering, his eyes boring into mine with an intensity that was both terrifying and entrancing. Despite my fear, I couldn't look away from him. I was mesmerized by his disturbing appearance, unable to tear my gaze from his unblinking eyes. Then, just as suddenly as he had appeared, he vanished. I searched frantically for him, calling out for help, but he was nowhere to be found. The street was empty, the fog had vanished, and the only sound that could be heard was the beating of my own heart. I ran home, locking myself inside and desperately trying to convince myself that it had all been a dream. But as the hours passed, the memory of that horrifying grin only grew more vivid in my mind. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that he was out there somewhere, lurking in the shadows, waiting for me to let my guard down. Days turned into weeks, but I never forgot about that man with the creepy smile. The memory of his vacant eyes and unnatural grin haunted my waking moments and invaded my dreams. I couldn't bring myself to go outside at night, and even during the day, I constantly looked over my shoulder in fear. I couldn't help but wonder what he was and why he had appeared to me. Was he a figment of my imagination or a real-life nightmare? The uncertainty was the most terrifying part. Had you ever encountered someone who seemed so out of place that it unsettled you? Maybe you were at a crowded party, laughing and having a good time, when suddenly you saw someone standing off to the side, their face obscured by the shadows. Or perhaps you were walking down a dimly lit street when you noticed a figure standing in the darkness, their eyes fixed on you with an unnerving intensity. Whatever the case may be, these seemingly innocuous encounters can leave us feeling uneasy and on edge. We might dismiss them as mere coincidences. But the unsettling nature of these experiences lingers in our minds, making us question the unseen forces that may be at play in our everyday lives. These are the creepy encounters that leave us wondering, was it just a coincidence, or was there something more sinister lurking in the shadows? Share your thoughts. This chilling tale was shared on the subreddit r/no sleep, a platform where users can post their original horror stories for others to read. The story immediately captivated readers with its suspenseful buildup and terrifying climax. Many were left on the edge of their seats, wondering if the smiling man would strike again. Others were disturbed by the protagonist's inability to escape, feeling trapped in their own nightmares. With over 1,000 upvotes and dozens of comments, the story quickly became one of the most popular posts on the subreddit. Readers couldn't help but share their own experiences and theories about the story, leading to a viral sensation on Reddit. Some users claim to have encountered similar situations in their own lives, describing the eerie details of their close calls with unsettling strangers. Others offered their own theories about the smiling man's identity, speculating that he was a serial killer or a ghost. The story's popularity can be attributed to its ability to tap into our primal fears, the fear of the unknown, the fear of being stalked, and the fear of losing control. The smiling man represents these fears, embodying the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of our everyday lives. In a world where we constantly seek comfort in familiarity, the sight of something or someone out of place can trigger our deepest anxieties. The smiling man with his unsettling grin and vacant eyes is a manifestation of these anxieties, a reminder that there are things in life that we may never fully understand. So the next time you find yourself in a crowded place, take a moment to appreciate the beauty of human connection and the warmth of a genuine smile. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Would you turn around if you saw that smile behind you? Share your thoughts with the community. Don't forget to subscribe for more terrifying tales. Thanks for watching.